Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Between internet not working and life getting a bit busy, I wasn't able to upload new videos recently, but we are back just in time for AEW's Forbidden Door. I have seen a lot of buzz around the pay-per-view this year, but not necessarily in a fully positive way. Some saying that the Forbidden Door concept has gotten somewhat stale, or that the build-up to some matches hasn't fully been there. And to be completely honest, I think I can agree with this criticism, as I'm not super hyped for this pay-per-view compared to other AEW's pay-per-views in general. And although I'm sure it will go above and beyond in-ring wise, it's lacking something for me. Some matches feel predictable or just put together for the sake of it, with no build-up, or at least not enough for me to be completely invested in. So this video might have some hot takes, but anyways, let's get started. Starting with the buy-in or pre-show, we have Sky Blue versus Micah in a qualifying match for the TBS Championship Survival of the Fittest. I feel like Sky Blue should win since she's a roster member and Forbidden Door season will be over after this pay-per-view. And she's also someone who could benefit from potentially winning the TBS title. And I feel like she has been putting up the work and improved her in-ring skills and deserves at least a spot in the match. Then we have Divine Dominion versus Thunder Rosa and Olympia for the Women's World Tag Team Championship. Okay, so I'm not excited for this one. This is one of those matches I was talking about with no build, except a Thunder Rosa 30-second backstage segment on Collision. Divine Dominion has been on the pre-show 3 pay-per-views in a row now with no legit competitors. And I wish they would just give them a real feud already, but it feels like these titles should have never been made since they had barely had any booking plans in mind and the roster is already so stacked. I know they want to make them look super strong, but I feel like they could be doing so much more with them, because at this point it just seems like those titles don't matter too much. Not to mention, I'm already tired of the weekly Collision squash matches, so I assume this match will also be on the shorter side. I'm sure they will add another last minute match after Collision, maybe a Jack Perry or the Demand match, who knows. Okay, so on the main card we have the Young Bucks versus El Sky Team versus Unbound Company. This is another random match with no build, but it could be a bit of a fast-paced, mindless action in fun spots. I think the Young Bucks will win this one to give them the momentum to maybe chase another title shot. We'll see. Next we have Cope and Cage versus the Dogs for the World Tag Team Championships. I think this is the one with the best build for their feud with multiple segments and interactions, but ultimately I believe Cope and Cage will retain. Adam Copeland just recently said that the timeline on his retirement has shifted and was pushed back a bit longer due to injuries and filming. And I know I'm being selfish, but I'm glad we get to have more of him because there were rumors that he was retiring in a few months. I feel like they still have a good amount of people they could face as champions. For example, I would definitely like to see them have a feud with the Hurt Syndicate, even after they said they weren't going after any titles anymore, which I think it's dumb. Not to mention the New Day if they actually end up going to AEW, and of course the Young Bucks. I was hoping for a Gabe Kid return, but a few days ago I read that he was among the people having visa issues, so I'm not so sure anymore. Jon Moxley versus Bandido for the Continental Championship is next. This one also lacks build for me, except from that one match they had recently. I feel like Jon should win since he's booked a bit stronger lately, but I could also see Bandido get a push and get the win if they want to stir things up. For Thekla versus Starlight Kid for the Women's World Championship, on one side I have been really enjoying Thekla's promos and just talking shit about Stardom and attacking even Taro Kata multiple times, who is the president of Stardom, but I wish some of the build happened in AEW and Starlight Kid made an appearance so people would be more familiar with her for those who don't know much about her. Regardless, I'm positive Thekla will win. Next we have Shota Umino versus Pac for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, and basically another inter-promotional match with no build, except a promo by Pac that was released exclusively on social media. And I really dislike when they do this because a lot of people don't get to see these videos, and I think Pac is great at cutting promos, not to mention in-ring. And the only other interaction was Gabe Kid randomly attacking Shota in Japan in Pac's name. but that was it. I'm sure it's going to be a good match still because Pac is one of the best wrestlers in AEW and all his matches are great, but I feel like there are no stakes and Shota will win to give New Japan a pay-per-view victory, and because he's the champion. Kenny Omega versus Zack Sabre Jr. could be one of the best matches of the night. They are considered two of the top wrestlers in the world, and I appreciate that Zack showed up recently in AEW to have some matches and showcase his technical skills to those who haven't seen him wrestle before, since AEW has gotten a lot of new viewers recently, and I think it just helped make the feud a bit more interesting. I could see this one go either way, but I would love to see Kenny get the win to give him some momentum and motivation to chase the world championship once again. Then we have Mercedes Moné versus Maya World for the women's Owen Hart Cup final. This match has been met with a lot of different opinions online, and although I'm very happy for Maya World to have this huge opportunity, especially after going through a recent tragedy, a big part of me wanted this to be a rematch between Athena and Mercedes instead. I've seen people getting some divided opinions, with some suggesting Maya should win the whole tournament, but I don't think this is a good idea because the match will be at Allin, the most important pay-per-view, and for the women's world title. And I believe that for this instance in particular, it should be wrestlers that have a bit more of star power, if you want to call it that, or have had a longer build, or that fans resonate with more even if they're heels, especially since a lot of people don't watch Ring of Honor and were just recently introduced to Maya World. I believe Mercedes will win this, and I hope Thekla still has the title until Allin, as it would be a very interesting feud between the two of them, with both their personalities being complete opposite. I believe we can all agree will Ospreay versus Sweve Strickland for the men's Owen Hart Cup final will probably be match of the night. They're two of my favorite wrestlers, and I really like the angle they're doing about how much they have changed in the last year. Although Will is still too much of a babyface for my taste since he joined the Death Riders, I would love to see him embrace more of his dark side than have a redemption of sort. I feel like we all know Will be going to the main event at Wembley, so this one feels a bit predictable, but regardless, this is the match I'm the most excited about. Last, we have Team Briscoe versus Team Don Callis Family and MJF in a cage match, and if Briscoe's team wins, he will earn an AEW World Title Championship match against MJF. I heard a lot of people complain about this match and how it shouldn't be a Forbidden Door main event, and I can see why, but supposedly MJF is injured, so it makes sense to make a big multi-man match like this where he won't have to take that many bumps compared to a singles match. The match does feel very stacked, and it was a way to feature as many wrestlers as possible who didn't have a match already, I guess. I feel like Andrade is gonna sabotage his team, or MJF at least, and fully turn on him, even if it means he won't get a title shot. It should be very funny. I've been loving the interactions between MJF and the Don Callis family, and how they all seem to dislike him, and even each other, like Kevin Knight and Cal Fletcher, and are just doing this for a quick buck, but they can't even seem to be able to work together. So I think it's going to be pretty entertaining. I will like if MJF teams gets the win, and if Briscoe's team wins, I hope the title shot match isn't on the next pay-per-view and it's on a special Dynamite event instead, like Beach Break, which is less than 2 weeks away, so they can move on with the next feud for the new pay-per-view. I'm excited about this one because I love violent multi-man cage matches, and a lot of the people in this match are known to do some hardcore stuff, so I expect a lot of violence. Some returns I would love to see are Hangman Adam Page, so he can be at the next pay-per-view, which is Redemption, and I think would be very fitting for him. And some wishful thinking, Jay White, who keeps teasing his return before every pay-per-view just to troll the fans, and Adam Cole, who has been mentioned twice now recently on TV. Anyways, that's just my personal opinion, and if you don't agree with some of them, regardless of what I believe is some underwhelming build-up for some matches, I still think it will be a great pay-per-view as usual, and it will be worth buying and watching. Now I want to hear about your predictions in the comments and your overall thoughts on Forbidden Door 2026. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel and watching the video. Just a reminder that channel memberships are available now if you want to support the channel and get some extra content as well as some exclusive perks. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and if you didn't, do it anyways. Until next time, see ya.